Imagine a practice that is like ploughing the fields of your mind to help make it compatible for sowing seeds of wisdom that will reproduce flowers of cosmic awareness, oneness, and tranquility. Sounds great, doesn't it? Can anyone guess what I am talking about? Because if you can, you will have guessed today's topic of conversation. Hello, beautiful souls. I am Chloe Rose, your host today. Welcome to the weird and wonderful, magical realm of mystic hearts. This is another episode of Coffee Shop Chats. So if you're new here, I invite you to grab your favourite beverage, whether that be hot or cold. There's no judgments here. And join me at the Mystic Hearts headquarters, where I invite you to have this close and personal, candid chat with me, and we just share our favourite drink together. I have a decaf almond coffee today. I've really recognised that there's a time and a place for me to get really caffeinated and pumped up for these videos, and in alignment with the topic of today's chat, I didn't feel that being super caffeinated was necessary. So if you haven't already got your drink and you're here for the long haul, I invite you now to pause this video, grab a drink and come back and join me. Cheers. It's still super hot, so I'm going to be drinking this with you today. So today, the Coffee Shop chat, it's going to be like a mixture of sharing some of my own experiences, but it's also going to be like a mini class in self-mastery. I've had a lot of fun doing the research for this video. So for those of you that aren't aware, I kind of do two main long format videos each week. One is called Wandering and Pondering, and those are very spontaneous, unrehearsed, candid conversations where I'm walking around in nature where I live here in the beautiful countryside of Oxfordshire in the UK. And then we have Coffee Shop Chats where I'm here at my headquarters, at my desk, and I tend to weave in a little bit of research, as I like these to be both vulnerable and educational. I want you to feel like you've learnt something, but also that you can take something away from your coffee shop chats. So I hope that you like the combination of those two styles. I like it. As someone who, is on the neurodivergent spectrum, I need diversity to keep me interested and excited. So I hope you enjoy this with me. And today's topic of conversation was something that was actually requested. And I love it. I love it also because it's so relevant to the offerings that I have and the work that I integrate within the world and the realm of mystic hearts. And it really takes us back to basics, which is awesome. If you know me, I am all about really getting to grips with like the foundations of being a human and how we can use that to help us be magical, multi-dimensional humans, which we all are. That is our base form and existence. So, without further ado, the topic of today's chat is going to be all about meditation. And I'm going to tell you a secret now. Meditation is not easy. Meditation is hard. So I'm going to break down today's chat into 4 parts. So the first one, part 1, and if you see me looking to the side, it's because I've got all my notes neatly aligned. So part 1 is going to be, what is meditation? From my perspective. And just to give you a little bit of background of me, I am a traditionally trained, certified Kundalini and Hatha yoga teacher. I did my teacher training 7 years ago, and it was a very traditional, ancient practice, which was incredible. I also went on with one of my teachers to do an advanced meditation practices training course. So I do know quite a bit about meditation professionally, and I'm also a quantum healer. That is my profession now, psychic quantum healer. So I take people into very deep, energetic meditation realms to actually access healing. I'm also certified as teaching and guiding yoga Nidra, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. I have been practicing all different types and styles of meditation since my early 20s. I'll go back to that a bit in a minute. I've done Vipassana, where you go to like a silent meditation retreat. And all of the meditations that I'm going to be talking to you about today are ones that I have personally practiced and experienced myself. And now meditation these days in the modern world is such a broad spectrum, and it is popular, which is really exciting to me. So there are going to be some forms of meditation that I will not be talking about today, and that's not to say that they are wrong or you shouldn't practice them. I just want to share with you what I have experienced and that are alignment with my own teachings and the education that I've received, but also in alignment with my world, so the Mystic Heart's world. And then part 2 is going to be, what are the struggles? And this is like the main juice of this chat today. What are the main struggles that people face when meditating? Because let's be honest, meditation is not easy. It is not easy. I don't care what anyone tells you. Meditation is not easy. Sitting down in silence for an hour, by the way, because that is like a proper meditative practice, being able to do it for at least an hour, that is not easy. That is not easy. And we are going to unpack and understand why. And then part 3, which is also exciting, is how can we tackle these struggles in a practical way? Awesome. And then part 4, what are the different types of meditation and who do they benefit? So we're going to get into like personality types, physical, mental health struggles. And I've put a bonus section at the end for neurodivergency and how we can adapt our meditation practice for busy brains or feelings and sensations of overwhelm. So I really, really, really hope that if you're watching this, you feel included and you feel like there's something for everyone in this video here today. So on that note, it's time for a sip. Cheers to that in my gorgeous cat mug. And I wanted to get dressed up today. Gosh, I think coffee is one of my favourite flavours. Like top 10 favourite flavours. So good, so yummy. Cheers. So let's talk about quickly, because it's going to be hard to go in deep about this because it's not the main narrative of this chat today, about my meditation journey. And let me know in the comments if you want me to do a long format just talking about my meditation journey and the different types of meditation that I've experienced and that I've kind of flowed through and moved through. Because I'll be like talking about my own experiences as we go through this mini meditation masterclass today. So my first ever experience of meditation or some form of meditation was when I was in my early 20s. I am going to guess about age 22. I was working in a corporate job, super long hours, desk, getting dressed up in a shirt, the typical corporate job. And something intuitively told me to start going to yoga classes. Like, didn't really know anything about yoga. I'd probably like heard people talking about it, looked cool. So I went to a yoga class, and it was like at the end of a working day. And I remember going into the studio. I got there early because I was like, didn't know what to expect or what was going on. Got there early, and I remember stepping into the studio, and they said, you know, get out a mat, you can sit or lay. And I remember lying down and instantly falling asleep. And it was like something about the energy in that space where, you know, yoga, meditation, breathing, it just put me straight away into that totally relaxed state where suddenly my nervous system and my body and my you know, motor sensory functions felt safe to stop. And I fell asleep, and I was like, woke up like that, like, oh my gosh, am I snoring? And that was my first experience of meditation, was actually just falling asleep. And I continued going to those yoga classes as I found that they were my anchor. Like, that was the one place where I felt I could focus, I could be in my body and not in my mind, I could calm down. So that was my first experience. It really, really helped to navigate me with just a shred of sanity whilst working in a corporate job. And I started exploring different styles of meditation. I went to I can't remember what it was called, some form of Kundalini meditation. I went in London, and that was more of like moving the energy around your chakras. So that was I started feeling the energy inside my body, which is a crazy experience for me at the time. I started going to Kundalini yoga classes, and very traditional styles of Kundalini yoga can be like repetitive movements, which is a form of meditation. Later on down the line, I went to a Vipassana 10-day silent meditation retreat where there's no talking, no phones, no contact with the outside world. And that was when I really started tapping into the depths of my subconscious mind and my psychic abilities. I had a very vivid psychic experience there that I will remember for my entire life. I can't tell you the details of it, unfortunately, because it is connected to someone close and dear to me, and it's a very personal experience. But I basically had a vision of something that was happening to them that they weren't aware of, and then I told them, and what unfolded after that proved that it was correct. Yeah, and then what else? I just continued practicing different styles, and then of course I did my yoga teacher training, and that included all of the different styles of meditation that I'm going to be talking us through later on in this chat today. So that's the mindfulness, the body relaxation and awareness, breath work, chanting, visualization, focusing, movement meditation, you name it, it was everything. And I realized how expansive the practice of meditation actually is. And there really is something for everyone, which is beautiful. So I'm going to read to you again the description of the intro to this video because it's so powerful. And I've actually written up some of my notes, like my teacher training notes. So I've gone back 7 years and brought them here to this video, which feels really beautiful actually. Let me just have a sip. And this was the Kundalini yoga, and this is not like an official one, by the way. This was the teaching of my Guru Anka. This was his description of what is meditation from a Kundalini yoga perspective. Meditation is like ploughing the fields of the mind to make it compatible for sowing seeds of wisdom that will reproduce flowers of cosmic awareness, oneness, and tranquility. I mean, if that isn't a mic drop, I don't know what is. Cheers to that. So, what is meditation? Like, what actually is it and what's the point, right? Because intention is everything. What is meditation? To focus one's mind on an object, a mantra, spoken action, or physical action or sensation to achieve a calm state of mind, to obtain connection and to become one with the higher consciousness. So it is to support our spiritual journey. Practice for spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. Practice of meditation comes in various forms, types, and duration. Now, what I want to focus on there is that there's no mention of, shutting down the mind or stopping thoughts. It's calming the mind and to help us have spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. So it's a healing practice, a healing tool. What I would say my experience now is of meditation, like if you asked me what is meditation, so and this is again something that has stuck with me from my yoga teacher training all those years ago, is they said the mind is like the most intelligent artificial intelligence software program. It's like this superhuman AI software program that we have in our mind, which is awesome, but also artificial intelligence and software can be programmed. It can be programmed, but it also can be rewritten. Okay, there's always that polarity of shadow and light. So what I've come to realize with meditation is whatever form we choose that serves us best, first of all, it's a tool for self-awareness. So it helps us to become aware of ourselves internally, but then it helps us to rewrite and rewire the program, both conscious and subconscious, of our mind so that it is serving our highest and best good. And that would be my description of meditation. It's really to gain control of our own mind, take our power back. Because a lot of us want to skip the mind or skip the body and just come straight into this spiritual experience. But we can't do that, and we absolutely can't do it from a grounded place if we haven't first become masters of our own minds. And this is why meditation can be such a challenge. It can be challenging. For me, it's like life work. I find it beautiful now, and I actually really enjoy that I adapt and change my meditation practice. And this is what I hopefully will invite or inspire you to do today, to consider trying it in many different ways. Because there's no right or wrong other than what feels good and supportive and expansive for you. It might not always feel that way either. We are human after all, reminding you that we are in this dense body of flesh, blood and bone in a vibration of reality on earth which feels very dense right now and low vibrational. So it's not easy. This thing isn't easy, but we love a challenge. That's why we're here. All right, and then I've written down as well, what are some of the benefits? Well, negative, and this is what I said, negative vibrational brain activity. I really like that. Negative vibrational brain activity, thoughts become reduced. Clean and clear the mind of unwanted ideas and information. Again, so it's thinking of the mind as a software program, or imagining your mind as like your computer. We're clearing it out. Best to be practiced every day for optimal benefits. When the mind is too full, it causes frustration and confusion. Meditation clears the clutter. Beautiful. To help clear the caches of the mind, again, we've got these computer program references ready for new ideas and information. So it's like clearing out the old, ready for the new, same as we would clear our homes or our bodies perhaps, to become happy and more peaceful. Lord knows we need more of that in the world right now. And what the mind says, the body follows. So that is an empowerment practice. And there's just a little bit more on thoughts here. This is what it's all about. Humans are addicted to thinking. Humans are addicted to thinking. Absolutely. We are probably in a timeline of chronic overthinking, chronic worrying. But it's to our own detriment. The majority of our thoughts are either negative or unnecessary. And our thoughts have a direct relationship to our emotions. That's right. When we have a thought, it signals down into our body to our nervous system, and we can have an emotional and energetic reaction. Okay, there's an example here. If someone steps on your foot, the natural reaction for your thoughts to take is to take over and think something like, why didn't she or he say sorry? Or why didn't they look where they were going? These reactive thoughts then turn into emotions like anger and frustration. By breaking the habit of negative thoughts, we are able to break free from emotion and let go of judgment over our own and others' actions. I love that. So it can help us to break free from reactivity. So that's inviting in more compassion, compassionate awareness, and just letting that shit go. Who cares? Meditation helps to slow down both the speed and the number of thoughts entering the mind. So we can really start navigating what's going on in our mind and what we want and what we don't want, what we choose to let go of. And eventually, we can achieve a state of thoughtlessness, and this one's important, for short periods of time. And now why I highlight that is because there are some spiritual disciplines or beliefs that might tell you that thoughtlessness is the goal. But if we wanted to be thoughtlessness all the time, then why don't we just blast ourselves back into cosmos and just become one with source again? And maybe that is our goal when we leave this human body. But being a human is all about this multi-sensory, multi-dimensional experience, which includes thoughts, which includes emotions, which includes feelings, which includes love, pain, sorrow, and all of those things. So thoughtlessness for short periods of time. The goal is not to stop thinking. We want this amazing, intelligent software program of a brain. But when we can clear our thoughts for a while, my goodness, we really begin to realize how much useless and unhelpful activity there is going on in the mind. But of course, this takes practice. This takes practice. For me personally, to get into a state of, I would say, like thoughtlessness, whether that's just for a few minutes, will take me a long time. And I'm going to be talking about this later because there's certain practices that I have to do to really help me to get into that deep meditative state. And here's some of the benefits of meditation. Again, control of emotions, turning off or managing our thoughts, becoming more aware of what is going on around us and our environment. Super important. Awareness, self-awareness, and also external awareness. A more calm and relaxed mind. And remember what we said earlier, our thoughts control our emotions. So when we have a calm and relaxed mind, calm and relaxed emotions, nervous system, and the rest of the body reacts to that. Increased positive emotions, beautiful, happiness, joy, love, creativity. Better functioning immune system. That's a pretty powerful benefit. focus of the mind, and it can decrease depression, anger, anxiety, and loneliness. And creating a necessary atmosphere in the mind, body, and emotions helps for the blossoming of meditation, and eventually we can return to our original natural state. And that's when we get to these states of total thoughtlessness. And it is possible, because I've experienced it. And like I mentioned, I'm undiagnosed, but I very much have many of the symptoms and experiences of the ADHD and autism spectrum. And it can be just very, what's the word I'm looking for? Inconsistent for me, how my mind is going to be. But I have and can experience states of thoughtlessness, and it brings us back to like that state where we're just like totally calm and strong and solid, and like no storm could shift that within us. And that's super powerful, because it does bring us back to that natural state, and it reminds us that we are divine and we are all connected to this state of expansiveness, of stillness. Okay, I'm going to have a sip. That's part 1. What is meditation? Calming the mind, benefiting ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Cheers. Thank you for being here with me. If you're still here, we've got to part 2. Let me know what you're drinking if you're watching this as well. I love to know what people's favourite food and drinks are. All right, part 2. What are some of the things that we struggle with when it comes to meditation? And there's going to be things that I've missed out, of course. This is such a deep and complex topic, because we're talking about psychology and the way that the mind works and functions. So I've just bullet pointed what I feel is some of the most common ones. And if you have some that you want to mention in the comments, please do, and we can start a chat and discussion and support one another. And you can let me know if there's any other content or videos that I can give to you that can help to support you in this as well. So primarily, people struggle with meditation due to unrealistic expectations and misunderstandings about how the mind works. So it's just a misunderstanding. These challenges are universal human experiences. So please, please, please don't think that there's something wrong with you if you struggle to meditate, or you struggle to concentrate or find peace or stillness. These are universal human struggles. Okay, so the first one, misconceptions and mind traps. Let's have a look at these. So the number one is if we go into meditation expecting a blank mind. So if we go in expecting to achieve thoughtlessness, that is like putting ourselves up on the expectation of a yogi master. So we're sabotaging ourselves and setting ourselves up for what could possibly be failure or feel like failure. And many people believe they are failing if their thoughts do not completely stop. And that is just not true. You actually want to be aware of your thoughts. We are aiming for awareness over blankness. Okay. And that's something that I had actually, and something I've experienced in meditation, because there was a time early on in my journey where I thought that we should go into this meditative state where our thoughts stop and we're opened up to some kind of cosmic gateway and we enter into another realm. I mean, of course that can happen. But that's a very, very, very high expectation. And often I find that can happen when we're least expecting it. Okay, so number 2, frustration with mind wandering. People treat distractions as failures rather than seeing the act of noticing them as the actual practice. And that's, what I wanted to get at. It's just becoming aware. And like, if you just start thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, just noticing that and being like, oh, maybe I do think about food a lot. I love food. And then coming back into the practice and just like have that childlike wonder and curiosity when thoughts come, rather than being like, ugh, my mind is so busy. Ah! Okay, next one, under the misconceptions and mind traps umbrella, impatiently chasing results. Yeah, unfortunately, impatience is possibly like the top, I would say. The top struggle. Beginners often look for instant calm or a magic pill effect, quitting when they do not feel immediate transformation. Yeah, just reminding you what I said at the start of this chat today. Meditation is not easy. Any of these holistic, natural, spiritual, whatever you want to call, under the umbrella that is not like, here, take a pill to fix you. It's a lifestyle. It's in, and the satisfaction and the healing comes through the journey of discipline and repetition, because it builds this warrior of resilience and growth from within. And then we have skepticism, skeptical doubt. Practitioners frequently doubt their own ability, the teacher, or the efficacy of the technique itself. I can't say that word. Doubt. And doubt just comes from the mind. Doubt is an implant that's come from fear, from external sources, or from childhood, where we doubt and we instantly think, oh, I can't do this, so I need to blame something or someone. Totally normal. We all do it. It's okay, but we just want to start recognizing it. Okay, and then the next one, I feel like these next few are going to be really relatable. We have physical and mental restlessness. I feel like this is probably one of the biggest things, other than wanting to quickly have a calm mind, feeling restless and just feeling like, oh, I'm bored, or when's this going to end? Absolutely. I still experience that, I would say, like maybe 2 out of 10 times that I do meditation. And there's reasons around that I'm going to unpick as we dive deeper. So, physical agitation. Sitting completely still causes many people to experience intense twitching or discomfort, or like almost seizing up of the body. Totally normal, because we are so used to, in our modern reality, distracting, entertaining, doing something else rather than being still and really aware of our physical bodies. Boredom and unease. This is what I was just talking about. Unplugging from hyper-stimulating screens creates an uncomfortable urge to move or seek entertainment, so we are in an age where meditation is actually needed so much, but it's also super hard for those of us who are like constantly on screens or interacting with these flashing images and colors. It's not working in our favor to help calm down the mind, the body, and the nervous system. And then we have kind of the opposite to that, where it's for those who feel very tired or lethargic. People regularly fight extreme sluggishness or even fall asleep as soon as they close their eyes, and therefore they feel like they're not meditating. And I used to be under that belief as well. Because I was actually taught in my yoga teacher training, like, don't fall asleep when you're meditating. It was like, don't fall asleep. You're not allowed to fall asleep. But what I've learned more from softening into a bit more of the womb healing and divine feminine teachings. It's like whatever you experience is what you need at the time. And I've also really had hands-on experience with this with my long-term clients who I work with, because I've had many who at the start of working together, they would always pass out. Whenever it came to like, okay, you can lie down now and I'm going to guide you, they would be asleep. And now, a few years later, after regular practice, they always stay awake and aware. But it's something about that's just what their body needed at the time. And eventually, after continual repetitive practice, they started recognizing that they could actually be consciously aware whilst resting. So it's not wrong. It's not wrong and bad if you're falling asleep. I just want to honor that for you. Okay, and then we've got emotional turbulence. Yes, when we close down our eyes or we shut out distractions or entertainment, surfacing or suppressed feelings can bubble up to the surface, and that can be uncomfortable. And this can be things like anxiety. That used to be one for me that would really, really come up during meditation. I would start like freaking out, but it made me become really aware of my mental health struggles and my anxiety, and it helped me to help myself get through those states. So I believe we really have to feel those emotional states in order to overcome them. And it can be anger, grief, sadness, trauma. All of these things can rush up to the surface, and that can be quite scary at first when we're not used to that. Intensified stress, so forcing calm, can often backfire, temporarily heightening internal tension and frustration. Yeah, because when we are shutting down, what we usually use to dampen or to numb the stress, it's almost like we are doing the opposite. We're heightening it in order for us, again, to help us overcome it. Disassociation. Some practitioners report feeling disconnected from their physical body or environment during deep stillness. And absolutely this can happen. I've had meditative experiences where I've literally felt that I'm floating out of my body, and I felt like suddenly my body's really small or really big. And for me, I don't mind that. It's quite an interesting experience, but I have also experienced with a lot of psychedelics in my time, so that has probably helped that experience. But for some people, that disassociation can feel very scary and ungrounded. There are ways around that, like really just making sure that your energy is grounded into the earth before practicing meditation. There can be some embodied practices. We're going to go into that in the next part. Then we have lifestyle and routine barriers. Lack of consistency. I'm so sorry to be the person that has to say it, but it's true. And this is why meditation's hard and these practices are hard, and changing your diet and your lifestyle is hard because you have to keep it up for it to click into place. You know, a lot of people say to me like, Chloe, how are you so calm? How are you so healthy? How are you so full of energy? All of these things. I'm like, it has taken me years. It's taken me years of unraveling conditioning and programs and what I thought was doing me good, and through trial and error and just slowly like unpicking all of that and finding the lane for myself. But it's taken consistency, and I'm still on this journey of finding what's best for me, and just always, I just keep constantly saying this to myself. I'm serving at the divine temple of inner wisdom. I'm always serving at the divine temple of inner wisdom. What can I do better? What can I do more? What do I need to do less of, and just ease off a little bit? So it takes time, consistency. Many people struggle to build a daily habit, approaching it as a chore rather than a prioritized routine. Yeah, Yeah, that's for sure how I've felt many times. It's like, oh, I have to get up and meditate. And that's just not going to help. You know, if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for these 5 minutes of devoting myself to feeling like a badass. Small things like that can really shift. Okay, and then perceived time scarcity. People regularly cite a busy schedule as an excuse, believing meditation requires long hours to be useful. Yeah, it's so true. 2 minutes of meditating is better than none. And we can all, no matter if we are like the top corporate person in the world or running a multi-channeled business like I am, we can all spare 2 minutes a day. 2 minutes a day. So that's some of the main struggles. Obviously, we have neurodivergency as well. So like hypersensitivity, super active mind, feelings of overwhelm. Those are all very real and relevant as well. And I'm going to go more into them. And let's have a coffee. I'd love to know how you're feeling so far about some of these experiences, which ones resonate with you, and if like your struggles with meditation and focus have changed throughout your lifetime as well, because we do have things like big lifestyle changes, hormonal factors. Just ourselves growing and expanding can bring on different states of feeling and being that can bring on new challenges and struggles. So let me know in the chat. By chat, I mean comments. Keep thinking this is a live stream. All right, so we're going to move on now to how can we tackle these struggles in a practical way. So feel free to get pen and paper if you want, or pause and go and grab that now. Some of these things I've been talking about, you know, as I was talking about the struggles, I was also talking about ways we can overcome them. So there might be a bit of repetition here. Repetition is good though. That's what we want for our meditation practice. So we're going to go back, rewind to those mindset traps. So reframing the goal, accepting that thoughts are natural. Shift your goal from stopping thoughts to noticing when the mind wanders, but also just noticing when a thought or multiple thoughts come in. Rather than stopping or blocking, noticing. Simple. And that is a simple practice. And that has really helped me. It's like acceptance and embracing of the thoughts and of the busy mind. Celebrate the wake-up moments. I love this. Treat the exact moment your mind has wandered as a success, not as a failure, and then gently return to your breath so you can just automatically help you to drop back into the body. I love this. So be like, yes, I was just thinking about dinner. Yes, I was just thinking about being with my partner tonight. Whatever it is, yes, I was just getting really stressed thinking about work. And now I'm back in my body. So not allowing ourselves to associate thoughts with negativity. Rewiring to celebration and success. I love that. This is a great one. Drop the performance tracking. Stop rating your meditations, your individual meditations, as good or bad. Meditation is simply the act of showing up. Oh, love it, love it. Again, this is something that has really helped me to let go, because now I tune in more to how my mind, my heart, my body, and how I'm feeling energetically. I tune into that and ask, what do I need today? Do I feel like I can drop into a super long space? Or do I feel like I need to work a bit more with movement and breathing and speaking today to get my energy flowing a bit more? And just letting go. treating it as like a healing tool or a medicine really can really change anything, rather than this strict routine of like, if I don't do my 30 minutes every day, I've done it wrong and I've failed. We don't want that. That's just not going to serve us, no matter how militant you are in life. Okay, so then we've got managing both the restlessness and the sleepiness. For restlessness and, oh no, this is the sleepiness one. Adjusting your posture. Sounds simple, but sitting upright in a chair instead of lying down to signal alertness to your brain. Keep your eyes open slightly if you feel really drowsy. This is a good one. Like you can meditate with a softened gaze, and that's where you're just looking downwards at nothing in particular. That is an option. That can be done. I personally feel that for me, with someone with a, this busy brain and very emotionally aware and sensitive, I have to keep my eyes closed because it helps to drop a distraction for me. But yeah, sitting in a chair, and what I love to do is getting somewhere that's comfy but not too squishy. So I'm sitting in my chair now and I've always got a nice cushion. I want my back to feel really supported and lifted up. And a lot of people struggle with sitting cross-legged. So sitting in a chair is the antidote to that. You can sit in a chair with your feet nice and planted on the ground. So you're getting that beautiful rooting connection to the earth, sitting up tall so you feel supported. That can really help. Doing a physical scan. Yes, this is really good for restlessness. This is like, if you are wanting to drop into a deeper meditative state, so perhaps into visualizing or having a more energetic experience in the body, doing a body scan first, like a 10-15 minute body scan, can help to drop the mind and the body into a relaxed state. And you can find body awareness scan meditations on my channel in my Embody Your Magick 28-day meditation challenge playlist. Scanning your body from head to toe before starting a meditation to release built up physical and mental tension. And oh, I like this one. This one's really good, actually. This one used to really help me. So label the urge to move. So when an itch or an urge to fidget arises, note it mentally for what it is. So like itching or tension or discomfort. And then wait 30 seconds before acting or before scratching. And more often than not, the sensation will fade. And again, that's like claiming power over your bodily sensations. Okay, and then we're going to come on to navigating the emotional turbulence. Yummy. I love it when the coffee gets down. Like I have my coffee with a little bit of almond milk and a tiny bit of monk fruit sweetener. When you get down to the bottom, it's like super strong and super sweet, which is like so yummy. I'm such a sensation girly. Okay, so navigating the emotional turbulence. Name the emotion. So remember, this is like when we have come into this meditative state and all of the distraction just shut off, we can have a very intense emotional experience like anxiety. So simply, again, so this is very similar to the physical discomfort, to the emotional discomfort, simply acknowledging it by labeling it. And you can even, to add like a layer of power to this, you can just say it out loud or softly. So you can say worrying, judging. This is a practice that I have done many times and it really helps. Because you're acknowledging the thought that's there, but you're not giving it any more power. Because you're saying, I see you, and you are what you are. Grieving. And what this does is it detaches you from the intensity of the feeling and doesn't give it any more power over your mind. Okay, so another one that you can do is locate the emotion physically. So focus on where the emotion lives in the body. For example, a tight chest, clenched jaw, often it's shoulders like this. It could be feet that feel a bit crampy and tense. So rather than spinning into a story about why you feel emotion, locate where it is in the body and just focus your awareness here. Often it's just a signal that wants to be acknowledged. And then another thing that you can do is, if you meditate and you find it to be a very overwhelming emotional experience, is just reduce the time. Reduce the time so that you're not associating your meditation practice with an upsetting or, really intense triggering experience. It's just like, okay, this is just going to be a small snippet of me feeling my emotions. So you can cut it down, from 10 minutes down to like 2 to 5 minutes, and really, really slowly and gently build your way up until the emotions start to ease off a little bit or just become less intense and more subtle. Yeah, and these are all things that I have practiced as well. I would say with meditation, starting short is just like the way to go. Absolutely the way to go. And we're going to talk about the different styles of meditation, and I can tell you which ones are good to start with as well. Okay, so now we have beating the routine barriers. Habit stack the practice. I don't think that I've personally practiced this. And what this is anchoring your meditation to an existing daily trigger. So anchoring it to something that you already are like, I'm already doing this because I have to. So like cleaning your teeth, for example, or right after your morning coffee. Now, why this is awesome is because you've already interwoven this into your day. So you're just adding the meditation onto that. So you're going to associate it with something that you're already doing as a part of your daily practice, as a part of your daily life, keeping you a human. I do like that. I'm someone who personally likes to meditate as soon as I've woken up or before I go to bed. So I suppose that's my habit stacking for me. It's like that's just what works for me. And then this one says lower the bar. If you are someone, I know people with ADHD, we can really struggle committing with commitments. Long-term commitment can feel really scary and overwhelming. So lower the bar, commit to just 2 minutes a day, and then consistently sitting for 2 minutes is vastly superior to sitting for 30 minutes once a week. Yes, consistency is key here. Make it a digestible amount for you that doesn't make you feel scared or overwhelmed, because otherwise we're just going to run in the other direction. Another thing is you can use apps or guided meditations to help eliminate the decision fatigue by letting a guided track direct your session. Yeah, I think I go through phases of enjoying guided meditations, and then I much prefer just being with myself and my breath. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this later, excuse me. It depends on the intention and how I'm feeling. And then I've added something extra here, and that is preparing for a meditation, which hasn't been spoken about here, because I think I touched on this at the beginning. For me, it can take quite a considerable amount of time for me to drop deeply into a meditative, like an expansive meditative space. And this is why when I host or hold space for my one-to-one clients, I spend a long time preparing for the session, because I like to meditate and tune in before the session so that I've already helped myself to drop into that deep and expansive space. Because to suddenly drop in and have like visuals and connecting energetically, it's a lot, and it's not always easy to do that. Not always safe to do it either. So there's preparation that we can do. So I've put 3 things that really help me get into a deep meditative state. The first one is talking and intention. So like getting really clear with yourself of like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I actually doing this practice? Do I just want to become more aware of my mind today? Or is it something else? Do I want to feel more confident or abundant? Do I want to have a visual experience? Get really, really clear on why you are doing it. Otherwise, it can feel like you're just sitting and torturing yourself for absolutely no reason at all. And what's the point of that? So intention, and I like to say that out loud. Out loud. And then movement, moving the body. And I'll tell you a secret. Yoga, the practice of yoga that we know today in the modern world, which is called asana practice, which is the movement practice, was created to help people be able to meditate. Ta-da! So if you are someone like me who struggles with meditation and really dropping in and having those experiences of real inward connection, do some movement before. It can just be like, it can just even be just moving the body or shaking it out, stretching, dancing, going for a run, whatever it is, moving. Because sometimes, I know I said I like to meditate when I wake up in the morning. That's true. But sometimes I'll do some movement before that. Because if we just sit down and meditate, we can be holding on to a lot of energetic, emotional and mental baggage that's unnecessary to bring with us and can act like an additional mental barrier to really go deeply within ourselves. And then another one is breathing. Breathwork is actually a form of meditation. But if we're talking about meditation in just the complete, simple term of just having eyes closed and just being aware of the breath and allowing the mind to open and expand, I would like to do breathing before that. Breathing exercises like breath counting, or there's Ujjayi breath, where your breath sounds like the ocean. For me, it really helps. And for me, breath work is very cleansing and clearing, so it can help to clear out a lot of the clutter that I bring with me to a meditative state. So those are my recommendations. Prepare for your meditation, and I promise you'll feel a difference. All right, so let's see. Okay, so we have. Let me just see what I've missed. Oh, okay. So what I didn't include in part 2 was the unique barriers that neurodivergent people face. I did talk about it, but I've actually written down some specific notes. So standard prompts of things like noticing your feelings can be confusing if a person cannot identify their emotions. So guided visualizations can fail entirely for those who cannot create mental images. And that is totally true for some people. And building a rigid 20-minute daily habit is incredibly difficult for an ADHD brain craving dopamine and novelty. I did mention that already. So that's starting small, switching it up. Complete silence can cause an ADHD brain to painfully generate its own chaotic internal noise, while an autistic person might experience sensory overwhelm from environmental sounds that suddenly become really loud. So just having a nod to that. And I am going to share at the end some practices that can help support this as well. All right, a little bit of coffee. We're already at an hour. Wow, where does the time go? If you're still here with me, cheers. We're at part 4 now, so I'm going to be talking through different types of meditation and specifically who do they benefit. So this might help you if you're like, I want to start meditation, but I don't even know where to begin and what's going to be good for me. So hopefully this might help you to navigate and understand that a little bit more clearly. So we've got, and I would say this is the standard type of meditation and can be the most powerful and the most useful. Mindfulness meditation. I'm sure you've probably heard of this. And this focuses on observing thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations as they pass without judgment. Without judgment. I've practiced this a lot. Set a timer on my phone. Close down my eyes. I've already done a bit of movement, a bit of breathing. And I just focus on the in-breath and the out-breath. And if an emotion or a thought comes, I notice it and I acknowledge it. Simple. And it really helps to build a self-awareness practice. You can do it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, work up, but very, very, very slowly, very slowly. So who is this best for? Chronic overthinkers, highly stressed individuals, and beginners who want to build a foundational mental awareness. Awesome. So it's kind of suitable for a lot of people. Okay, then we have concentration or focus meditation. So this involves training your intention entirely to a single focal point, such as a candle flame, a sound, or the breath. So we have things like mantra, breathwork, which I find helps. Like for me personally, I've tried candle gazing and I've tried there's visualization techniques, where you just visualize one thing. For me, it's very difficult with my brain. I don't know why breath work helps. Perhaps it's the oxygen coming into my brain helps to calm my mind. But for some people, it's awesome. So yes, a candle flame, a sound, an image, but it's just one thing. Focusing on the one thing. So I feel that this is sort of the next level of difficulty with meditation, because you're if a distraction comes, you've got to bring yourself back to the one thing. So it's more of a disciplined practice. I have put Vipassana under this one. I spoke about that earlier, the silent meditation retreat, which I highly recommend for anyone who wants to totally transform their relationship to meditation. Because for me, the first 3 days were like torture. And after that, it blossomed into something incredible. And for this one, the one that I went to, you're sitting and you're going rising as you breathe in, falling as you breathe out, sitting as you pause, and you're repeating that over and over and over and over for a specific amount of time all day. That's an extreme version. So this is best for people with short attention spans. That's why it's so hard, right? It helps a short attention span, but it's super difficult. Individuals struggling with brain fog. Cool. And anyone looking to improve cognitive focus. Amazing. Really, really amazing. And again, remember, you can start small. If it feels super overwhelming to just focus on one thing for a long time, start with 5 minutes. Do 5 minutes for 30 days. All right. Then we have, this one's really beautiful, loving kindness meditations. This is called, also known as metta. There is a whole meditation realm around that. And this directs compassionate wishes and positive energy towards oneself, loved ones, acquaintances, and eventually all living beings. So that's really beautiful. And this one I find is nice because it expands your awareness out and helps you to not be so stuck in this like sense of being an individual human stuck in this body and whatever's going on. I know I have practiced metta before. It's not something that I practice regularly, but what I've also added to loving kindness meditation is the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is very simply, you can do it to yourself. I also do it with other people as well. I like to just hold my hands like this over my chest. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. And you can do this, like, again, set a timer, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, say it over and over and over again. And it can create an extremely powerful, energetic and emotional experience. It's very good for releasing things like grief. Yeah, really powerful. And something I was doing actually 2 nights ago, and this was something that was just intuitively guided to me that I don't actually think I've done before. But I was lying in bed and I just placed my hands over my heart and I said, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I was doing this for about 5 minutes straight, speaking it out loud. I like to speak out loud with my hands on my heart because I can feel the vibration of the words in my heart, coming out of my heart. And I just was in floods of tears, but it wasn't sad tears, it wasn't happy tears, it was a really blissful emotional release. So it's whatever you want, but it's loving kindness, talking to yourself and others with loving kindness. And then I've put under this one affirmations as well. It's this repetition of rewiring ourselves in a way that is kind and loving. Remember what I said earlier? Worshipping at the divine temple of inner wisdom. And so loving kindness meditation is best for individuals struggling with severe self-criticism, low self-esteem, anger issues, or interpersonal conflicts. If you're having relationship issues. Awesome. All right. And then we've got transcendental meditation / mantra meditation. So this is a specific assigned sound or word repeated silently to transcend ordinary thinking and settle into deep rest. This is not something, I don't know, actually I like mantra meditations, but I like to speak it out loud, and it's probably because of the slight ADHD. It's because I like to feel like I'm having an experience. I do find it difficult to just repeat one word like silently internally, but it is powerful because it keeps the mind focused on the one thing. So in a way it is similar to our concentration meditation, but what's different about the transcendental is you're picking something, a word or a sound that is like for a specific purpose. So, you know, we could take the throat chakra if you want to have a visceral throat chakra expansive experience. You could use the sound of the throat chakra, which is hum, 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 hum. And remember, we have the humming bee breath where you're it's that repetition, and that is something I've done the humming breath for long periods of time, maybe 20 minutes, and it creates a hugely expansive mental and full body, out of body experience. So it's almost like it's worth the discipline of what it takes to get into that repetitive state. And this one is best for busy professionals, type A personalities. I don't actually know what that is off the top of my head. And those who prefer a highly structured effortless technique without tracking thoughts. Yeah, so this is like zero fluff, straight, like all I've got to do is just say this one thing over and over and over for a set time. So it's people who like no bullshit kind of approach, like let's get to it, I'm going to do this. This is the reason why I'm doing it, so I'm going to do it. Okay, so then we have, I spoke about this earlier, body scan, progressive relaxation. Just have a little sippy. It's gone cold now. So body scan involves systematically focusing on different parts of the physical body, usually from head down to toe. Sometimes it can be toe to crown if you need to lift yourself energetically. Consciously releasing tension. Different types of body scans, and then you also can lead from a body scan into yoga nidra, which is an incredible practice. And why I love yoga nidra is you're lying down, or for those who can't lie down, if you're in a wheelchair, for example, you can do it in your chair. It is a yoga and meditation practice that is available and suitable for everyone. I'm not going to go into the depth of yoga nidra now. I believe that I have a couple of videos. I might be talking about one, and then I have a yoga nidra practice or two on my channel that you can discover. What I'm going to do in the description is link some of the specific meditations that I recommend for this video, so you can check that out. But yeah, it's a long body scan meditation technique to bring full relaxation to the mind, the body, the emotions, and energetically. So this is best for people who suffer from chronic pain, individuals struggling with insomnia, and those who experience stress as physical tightness or tension. Cool. Then we have movement meditation. Meditation does not have to be sitting or laying in stillness. No, no, no. Some of my most powerful meditation experiences have been in movement. I was actually taught in my yoga teacher training an ecstatic dance meditation technique, which is an hour long and it's in 4 parts. It was so powerful, such an experience. And we've got things like qigong, tai chi, walking, dancing. I mentioned earlier kundalini yoga. There's this practice where you sit and you circle from the hips and you just do this over and over. That is one of the most powerful energetic experiences I've ever had in my life doing that. And it's something that I still practice now. If I don't feel in the right state to just be sitting meditating, I will really like dance with my body's energy. So movement meditation anchors mindfulness to the body through slow, deliberate physical movements and coordinated breathing. And I've put dance and kundalini meditation. So for me, this is great for people with ADHD, or people who struggle with concentration, or people who actually just really feel like they want to feel energy, like, yeah, I want to feel something in my body and have this tangible experience, because that's really what it can bring about. And it says best for highly restless people, individuals who hate sitting still, and kinesthetic learners, so people who like to learn through touch and movement and physical sensations, who feel trapped by traditional seated practices. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And then the last one, and of course, remember I said there's so many more topics I could go into around meditation, but the last one that I've sort of lumped together is spiritual / visualization / quantum meditation. And I personally would say that this is the most difficult or the most advanced style of meditation to get to with ease, unless you are a really creative person, although I'm a very creative person, and I sometimes struggle with this. Sometimes I drop into it easily, but then that's when the neurodivergency plays in. So this is why this is so complicated and complex. And I just want you to be so kind to yourself when thinking about your own practice. So this style of meditation uses vivid mental imagery, sacred geometry, religious or spiritual contemplation, or energy work to connect with a deeper sense of purpose or higher power. Yeah. So this is best for creatives, visual thinkers, individuals seeking a profound philosophical or spiritual connection. So now for me personally, when I'm going into like a deep quantum or visualization meditation, I allow myself minimum 45 minutes. Usually an hour feels best, because it takes me time to drop in and open myself up. So I can enjoy those meditations, but it's usually when I have the time to. So I would be doing maybe one long meditation like that in a week. It wouldn't be in my daily practice. I allow the time, and I treat it more like a ceremonial practice. Get myself really comfy and make sure my back is rested, and I've done some practices to open my heart, but if I'm not in the mood for it, I won't do that, because I don't like to feel like I'm forcing that. It's got to be like, oh yeah, I really feel like dropping into the mysticism and the magical realms today, so that it doesn't, I don't want any of my practices to feel like a chore or feel forced. So I hope that was all helpful for you. And then the last bit, as I promised, the bonus, is tailored meditation techniques to help support neurodivergent minds. And I just love that we're in a world now which is really embracing how incredibly complex and multidimensional our minds are, and how the mind has been so misunderstood for so long. We're finally starting to embrace that and beginning, just scratching the surface of opening up our understanding of the mind and the complexities of the mind. And this is something that I mentioned earlier, mindful stimming and kinetic meditation. That's the movement and like the physical touch kind of meditation. So instead of fighting the urge to fidget, using movement as a focal point. So how it works is engaging in a repetitive movement, focusing all your attention entirely on the physical texture, temperature, or rhythm of the movement. So remember what I said about the hip circles? That could be a great one. There's also the practice of counting the mala beads. That can be good, because it's just having something to touch, and it's like, oh yeah, this feels real, and I'm not just getting lost in this soup of thoughts and distractions. So why this works, it utilizes the body's natural self-regulation mechanism to anchor a restless nervous system without causing physical distress. So we're working with the twitches. It could just be gently rocking forwards and backwards. Another beautiful one is finger tapping. I've actually done this meditation before, where you just, eyes are closed, tapping each of the finger on the thumb. It can be really grounding. That's good for people who struggle with anxiety, and that's from my own experience. Okay, and then another one recommended for neurodivergent minds, sound and rhythmic mantra meditation. So replacing silent breath tracking or breath counting with predictable auditory inputs. So you can listen to maybe a fast tempo sound bath, or an unfamiliar Sanskrit chant, or binaural beats. you can use, this one says you could use mala beads while repeating a verbal phrase. So something that's slightly more stimulating for the mind, but is still going to keep you in that looping meditative state. So I like this. I've actually found for me, finding a really awesome binaural beats and putting it on headphones really helps me to stay focused, and I can focus on the music, not like entirely on the stillness of my body. So for me, that really helps to calm that part of my brain. So I like that one. And why this one works: the auditory rhythm quiets, an over-analytical mind by providing predictable, structured stimuli. Love it. I can definitely vouch for that one myself. So this one's really interesting. I don't know if I've practiced this myself. I'd have to think about this. And this one is dual anchor concentration. So a standard single focus meditation can be too boring for busy brains or dopamine seeking brains. So you can instead give yourself two distinct anchors at once. For example, focus on the sensation of your breathing while simultaneously staring at an object like a candle or a flame, or counting your breath whilst also moving the body. This is why also yoga nidra can be a really great practice, because it goes through all different stages. So it brings the awareness into the body, and then you do the body scan, and then you do breathing awareness, and then you do mental focus, and then you do visualization. So for people who enjoy that switching things up and changing, it can be really great. I love yoga nidra. So why this works: it slightly overloads the working memory in a controlled way, preventing the mind from drifting into unrelated daydreaming or even anxiety or worrying. Love that one. Okay, last one we have. Practical neuro-affirming adaptations. So again, I've mentioned this already. Drop your 20-minute or 30-minute daily rule and rely on microdoses. Microdosing is so good for the neurodivergent mind, and that is in every sense of life. Microdosing. Make it small and manageable and not overwhelming. So meditating for 2 to 3 minutes right after an interesting task to capture the residual dopamine. I really like that, actually. I have done this before. When I was doing my embodiment training, it would be having to set a timer on the phone, like I think 6 times throughout the day, where when the timer goes off, you have to stop and just spend a minute focusing on how you feel. And that really helps to not only be aware of how different activities in your day affect you, but also just to bring this calm and clarity of your mind and your whole being. So I love that. This is a good one. I can relate to this as well. Skipping guided meditations that ask you to breathe like a cloud, and focus more on literal concrete instructions like inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds. So avoiding the more metaphorical guidance and come to that real structured, easy to follow, easy to understand, like just taking it back to basics. That is something that I enjoy as well, which you might find surprising because I'm a very artistic, creative person, but I do like and appreciate clear, simple instructions, especially as I'm getting into something. After that, I can expand a bit more. This is nice as well. Creating a safe sensory cocoon. Meditate wearing noise cancelling headphones. Yeah, this is something I mentioned about having the binaural beats in the headphones. under a heavy weighted blanket so you get that feeling of safety and security, or sitting on an intense acupressure mat to mask distracting environmental inputs. I've never tried that, but you know, there's all kinds of these days in this modern world, there's all kinds of incredible modern tools that we can use to support our meditation practice, like, you know, beds that we can lay on, or like I think there's like, you know, red light or light healing frequencies, all of this stuff. There's also things like listening to sound healing, the crystal bowls. There's so many beautiful ways to enhance your meditation practice, but I really wanted to take us back to the basics today. So I really, really hope that you've taken something away from today. I hope that you have a little bit more clarity now about why you may have been experiencing your meditation practice in some way, and why your own experience is so valid and so unique to you, but also just totally normal as a human. So please do let me know what you enjoyed about this video, what you would like to know more about. Is there anything you want me to dive deeper into? Would you like me to share any of these specific meditation practices that were mentioned in this video today? And yeah, anything else? Is there any way that I can support you with your spiritual practice, your meditation practice, anything? Just let me know. And like always, please do give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel, comment, share with a friend, all the good stuff. And if you did really enjoy this and get something from it, and you feel like giving me a gift of a donation, it would be received with so much love and gratitude, because it helps me to continue expanding the content that I give to you, free live streams, courses, meditations, and so much more. But first and foremost, thank you for your presence, and just thank you for being here on this weird and wonderful life journey with me. I love you, and I want nothing more than to see you living your fantastical life.